Record. Alright, we are recording on everything now.
Yeah.
It is your intro, thank God.
It is my intro. Also, hey everybody.
Hi everyone, hi
Who's
people,
watching.
hi friends.
Sorry that we started a little late. But
Minor,
literally, the
minor
entire
hiccup.
GL staff was sleeping.
Minor, it's early.
Yeah, for
It's
people not
noon.
me, yes.
I'd still be asleep if it wasn't for the episode.
Yeah. It's noon, but yeah, no.
I'd still be sleeping if it wasn't for this episode.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't go
yeah,
to
for
bed till
the
like 7 this morning, so.
wow. So yeah, for those who don't know what's happening, this is the second time we're doing a live recording of one of our episodes on RGL here. Uh, so yeah, feel free to chat away. Oh, I can hear myself through your microphone again, EVC. Just saying because Lex hates that.
Well, legs can deal with it. Alright, you should be
Well,
better now.
yeah, I don't hear myself, or maybe I do. I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, feel free to chat away if you have any questions or something. We'll get to them. But we're basically sticking to our normal plan of action. Uh, but if I pick something up in chat that I can address quickly, I'll certainly do so. So yeah, we're gonna start this recording. You can watch the video on our YouTube channel eventually, or you can listen to the edited episode on our SoundCloud. So yeah. All right, so it's my intro.
It is.
I don't know how to pronounce this correctly, but I'll try anyways. Here we go. On this episode of This Is Game Boy, our Mawashi is too tight.
Ba-da, ba-da, bum, bum, bum. Where is it? Where is it?
Yeah,
There it is.
I can't hear it. For those of you who are wondering what a Mawashi is, it's like the sumo wrestlers. The more you know.
There we go.
We are very what
Educated.
do you call it? No. I mean like edutainment, I guess
Oh,
is the term.
so we're like the info games of Game Boy podcasts. So we're like
Sure.
we're the German and Spanish translator carts of Game Boy podcasts,
Yeah.
or
Whatever.
the Game Tech Jeopardy games where they create some weird vocabulary word for football.
Yes.
Ben Garrett
Maybe.
knows all about that joke. We were playing
Probably.
Jeopardy together, and we're just like oval, and it was just some like weird,
Oh boy.
yeah, it's just a weird word that we've never heard of before. And like, who would have ever guessed that on a game? Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get us started. Oh. So yeah, hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Is Game Boy, full episodes. Also, hi everybody in chat who's watching this live, of course, because now we're always recording live. So yeah, like
Yep.
always, it's me, Mule. I'm here, and with me for these full episodes is my co-host, eBloodyCandy.
Hello. We actually have our names on the little window now too.
Ooh,
I
fancy
did
stuff.
that
Fancy stuff.
earlier today. That's what took me 20 minutes to do.
That's a long time. uh, so yeah, before we head into this episode's game, like always, let's go over what we have been doing. I'll start because literally I haven't done anything, to be perfectly honest. Because my light
Makes two of
recording
us.
wasn't. Yeah, my light recording wasn't that long ago. Plus, uh, I was job hunting and I had a lot to do for that, so I didn't get to play many games. But like I mentioned in my light, I was playing through the Spider-Man DLC because it was finally on sale, and I finished it or completed it, I guess. Uh, and now I have to replay the game on ultimate mode, which is crazy hard. Like
I mean, you don't
Jesus, that
have
damn
to.
shit. Well, I want those trophies, so yes, I do have to.
Of course you do.
So yeah, but yeah, Spider-Man. Everybody knows that game. Great game. Uh, I'm almost done with it again. So there you go. And besides that, I went to a game store here with a friend of mine. Sometimes we just go there to check out what's there, and they had a PS4 copy, physical copy of Owlboy. So I picked that up. I enjoyed the game, but for the price it is, and the physical costs like the same as the digital one, and 25 euros for me. It's a bit too pricey because it was a little bit too short for that price, but it's a fun game. I enjoyed playing it. It's mm, you could say it's like you have to play it like a Metroid game, like getting the right stuff to advance. But it's way more linear than any other type of game like that. But it has great music and great graphics. But if you want to get that game, and if you don't mind going for a digital copy, I would say just wait for a sale and pick it up. It's on literally every console and Steam and stuff, as far as I know. But yeah, that's literally all I've been doing. So what have you been doing, EBC?
So like off of Owlboy, like I've never played Owlboy, but I definitely have watched a decent amount of streams of it. It looks fun. Definitely a game I would play. And then Spider-Man. We've both have played Spider-Man. Platinumed it, so watching you play the DLC was fun though, because we play very differently. You're not nearly as aggressive as I am in that game.
No.
Let's see here. I did my first RGL raffle last week. It was a handheld night, so my entire raffle window, that was like 4 hours or 5 hours, was all handheld games. Got to play some pretty cool games. I was surprised that I got more Game Gear games than any other system, which was cool because Game Gear is a system I kind of want to get into a little bit. So a little bit more knowledge about. But played a few Atari Lynx games. They were okay. The last game of the night was Xenomorph, which was like the only Atari Lynx game that I've ever played before, so that was fun. You basically just run around with a gun and shoot alien eggs. It's pretty dumb, but it's fun at the same time. It's pretty arcadey. And then I got introduced to might be the worst game I have ever played in my life, and that coming from me is a pretty big statement because like I like some really bad games, but I got Dragon's Lair for the Game Boy Color requested in a raffle, and it's a direct port of the arcade version.
Ooh.
It's pretty impressive for the Game Boy Color. I will give it that, but the game is awful. Like it doesn't. It gives you two modes. It gives you like a normal mode and a tutorial mode. Tutorial mode tells you like what buttons to press and when to press them, but normal mode doesn't do that at all. But tutorial mode doesn't go through the entire game or every window. It only goes up to like the first 7 windows and then it shuts off. So like
Right.
so like once you play through Dragon's Lair, like once you've passed like those 7 windows that you've done in training, you're kind of on your own to figure out what to do. And the game just beeps at you if you get it right or wrong. And since it's timing based, like you could have pressed the right button on the wrong time and it gave you the wrong beep, and you're just like, well, wrong button, maybe. No, it's just a crap game. I still haven't beaten it. I've probably put like 3 hours into the game and I still haven't beaten it. It's only 30 screens long. I've gotten close twice.
Okay.
I've only gotten close twice. It's dumb. It's a dog water game and it should not be a thing.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely awful.
Awful game. I'd rather play the NES version, and I don't even like the NES version. I'd rather play it on arcade, where like the graphics and the animation is actually fun. But for Game Boy Color, it's actually a pretty interesting game because like they actually put a lot into that little cartridge. Like the animation and the voice acting, and it's actually really well done. So, I've been playing Lost Ark For those that don't know what Lost Ark is, it's the new Western MMO that came from Korea that's been out for like 5 years. I've been playing that because it's what I do. WoW Classic, Phase 3, WoW Classic TBC came out like a month ago, so, and I raid 4 nights a week and that, so that's pretty much half of my life.
Yeah.
I played through a bunch of NES games on the Mister to get a better quality video. So I did replay through, I think it was Mega Man 3, Kirby's Adventure, Donkey Kong Jr., Where's Waldo, and I think Bucky O'Hare. So did a bunch of that. That's really about it in terms of game stuff. Like I was gonna play WarioWare tonight probably for the Game Boy Advance because that was actually pretty fun to play on the raffle thing. So, but yeah, that's all. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff, but like it's been like in short bursts, not a consistent thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Not much this time around, but whatever.
But with the new Kirby game coming out in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, I did play the demo of it. That's true.
I didn't play the demo at all. I didn't even download it. I want to be a complete surprise.
It's fun.
I want to be I want to be overly disappointed in it, like I was with Star Allies. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting the game day one probably, but I will.
Oh, I am.
The demo was fun, but like, it's not like I was overwhelmed by it or anything.
I just want to be a refrigerator again. I haven't been a refrigerator since the N64. And I want to get my 5 stars after I hijack a car. So
yeah, that's definitely how that game works. Yeah.
Kirby GTA. I'm gonna have the army after me and. Oh boy, but yeah, that's really all I've been up to. I'm mostly just anticipating Kirby the next couple weeks, and then the Switch just put out all their lineup. There's another game I was excited for, and I can't remember it now. That's how excited I am for it. So,
yeah, I have no idea.
I can't remember. That's really about it. I think I have a few things on the docket, like Hollow Knight and the new Assassin's Creed DLC just came out for Valhalla, where I get to play as Odin, and I have to save. I think it's Thor or one of his other kids. I can't remember now. You have to fight Loki, I believe. So,
Okay.
I think in a way it's something about Ragnarok. So it's something with Loki and the Jotunheim and all that stuff. So,
yeah, and Kratos and
yeah, definitely. Dad of War. Yeah. Have to deal with that damn kid just barking at you all the time. That kid ruined that game for me.
It wasn't. There was a part he was awful, but
yeah, the entire game. I agree, but
oh boy.
So yeah, this time around, we got a pretty underrated and a fairly obscure Game Boy game this time around. Sumo Fighter, also known as Sumo Fighter. I have this sound thing. Tokaido Basso. There we go. I had it on the Google Translator voice thing, so I learned how to enunciate it. Yeah. I didn't know how to say it. I don't know Japanese. So yeah, take a minor break here. We'll be right back with some details about the game. So stay tuned. Play a short little blip here of the. Oh, it's so loud. There we go. Ear holes just exploded.
Oof, excuse me.
Alright. 25 seconds is enough of that. it's the same thing over and over again. It's not memorable music. All right, welcome back, everybody. So yeah, we got Sumo Fighter or Sumo Fighter. I already forgot how to say it in Japanese. Tokai do Baso.
Yeah.
Nailed it. 10 out of 10. Came out April 26th, 1991 in Japan, and then March of '93 for the United States. Apparently, you all didn't get it in Europe.
Nope. And it's also a pretty late re-release.
That is
Like
true.
it's almost 2 years later, actually. So yeah, it's kind of weird that they did that, but
Well, we had that one game that came out like 7 years after the initial release, too. That was kind of bizarre. Kind of
yeah,
crazy you all
I
didn't
don't
get
know
it,
why.
though. I feel like this game would have done well in Europe.
Probably, and yeah, the because the Western release was so low, I guess it became an obscure game that just nobody really knew about or picked up. And if you want a copy now, you're gonna have to pay for it, sadly.
Yeah, right now a Japanese copy of the game goes for about $30 to $40, which is still, honestly, in the retro collecting world, relatively cheap.
Mm.
Sadly enough. But if you want a U.S. copy of Sumo Fighter, it's about $200 now. Um, 3 years ago the game was $50, mind you. So, if you want the manual for Sumo Fighter, which is even harder to find, by the way, that's about a $300 manual. So if anyone wants to buy me the manual and I can add it to my box over there of Game Boy manuals, I would love you forever. Because I'm not gonna spend $300 on a Game Boy manual.
Or if anybody who is listening has it, uh, I'd like to remind you that we do have like a database of Game Boy manual scans. So if you want to
Yep.
contribute to that, you can do so.
Yep.
Definitely check that out. Would be nice. Because now we like when it comes to plot and other things we're gonna talk about. I just made stuff up, so so there you
Of
go.
course you did.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, let's see. The game was actually developed, I assume, in the first place by IMAX. Uh,
Yeah.
those are is the bleh, that's the company that released it origin or made it originally, the
Yep.
Japanese version at least. There's not that much information about IMAX,
They.
weirdly enough, but they did a bunch of puzzle games for like Japanese only, but they also did Nail and Scale. I don't think we've
Yeah.
talked about Nail and Scale in detail yet on the
Not.
podcast,
Not
but
yet.
yeah, that's at least one that is known outside of Japan. But the developer for the American version in this case was Kit. Kindle Imagine Develop. I've talked about them in previous episode or in the light episode, in detail about them. They're basically an American branch of a Japanese company.
Yep.
That worked together with I don't remember who it was for Beret Fighter Deluxe uh, to make that game happen. So they translated a few things in the game to release it in the U.S. And they're known for, like I said, Beret Fighter is one of them. Logiman, Yume Nutsu. What is that again?
Yume no
Um,
Subasa.
yeah, what is that again?
Uh, I had it open.
It sounds really familiar, but now
It's well, it's a song apparently.
I don't know. It really sounds
Anyway,
familiar. Yeah.
it's an adventure visual novel.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds super familiar.
Yeah.
But yeah, they also made like the two GI Joe games for NES and
Yep.
things like that. So
G.I.
that
Joe.
is who Kid is.
Yeah, and those
Um,
those Japanese puzzly games is like mahjong, by the way.
hmm
So
hmm
pretty mahjong, a very popular puzzle type game in Japan. Like there's about 4 billion mahjong games on the Game Boy. So
Yeah, or at least games that use the mahjong tiles but are not
yeah,
actually mahjong. Like
traditional mahjong.
Shanghai doesn't use it uses mahjong tiles, but they're like you just have to match them. I think you
Oh really?
have to
Weird.
learn to. Yeah, it's yeah, whatever. I've never played it myself yet, but
I haven't played Mahjong in years, so
yeah. The game got published by DTMC. I don't. It might be a abbreviation of something, but there's again almost nothing known by this
yeah, I have
company,
no
and it
idea.
only lasted for 2 years. They were funded in '92 and they went out of business in '94. So
Sounds about
uh,
right.
that's not much, and their logo looks like something I would make in Paint. Uh, just saying, it's really it looks like one of those Simon Says. Oh no, like a the spinner of Twister.
Yeah, I mean you can see it on the
Like
box art on the stream for those watching. It's a Simon Says circle. It has the red,
yeah,
yellow, blue, green. Yeah,
yeah. So I don't know, but they did make a few games that are known at least.
yeah.
Well, known for the wrong reasons, probably. Like Lester the Unlikely for Super Nintendo. That's definitely a game. The Adventures of Dr. Franken, that's a Super
That's the
Nintendo
Super
one as well.
Nintendo one. Yep.
Yeah. Laszlo's Leap, that's a puzzle game. Square Deal is a puzzle game, which I hate, and I still
Bad
have to
game.
beat it. It's like poker, but you have to match hands. It's really weird. I can't grasp how to play it correctly. Always thought that Square Deal, whenever I see that name, it's the TV show. That's just called the same, right? Uh, with the celebrities, where you have to like pick one, and they're
Hollywood
if you answer.
Squares here, but yeah,
Oh yeah, Hollywood Square. Yeah, it always reminds me of that. They also made California Games 2. I did not even know there was a second one.
I didn't know
Um,
that either until I did some research on them. They did a bunch
yeah,
of other stuff too, but like those were probably the most noteworthy games that they published.
yeah. So yeah, not too much that they did, and most of their games are, and they're
They're there.
playable.
They're
Yes,
there.
yeah,
Adventures of Dr. Franken is probably the best of that list that we just mentioned. So,
yeah.
and even then, that game is not that great. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, the composer of this game is Nobuyuki Shioda, who I am assuming is a part of Kid, and the reason I say that is because his list of games that he's composed versus the list of games that Kid has developed or translated are almost 1 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So he's composed games for Low G Man, Chester Cheetah Wild Wild West on the Genesis, Burai Fighter Deluxe on the Game Boy, a ton of Japanese games, obviously. So um, it's actually kind of nice. Again, we don't get to see composer names all too often, and especially in Game Boy games and retro games alike, because credits were typically just pushed to the company as a whole or like the team and not individuals. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and genre for this game, if you're watching the stream live, you can see that it is a basic go to your right platformer. So,
Yeah, it kinda beat 'em up, but not really. I would put it more in the platformer
yeah,
section as well. Even though even the platforming isn't. I don't know.
it's
It's
a
just a mix of those genres, but none of
it's
them comes through
yeah,
perfectly.
the only type of time you platform is to jump over a hole or
Hmm.
dodge some spikes. It's if you've ever played Ninja Gaiden, it's a very similar aspect to Ninja Gaiden, where you break some things, get some XP. The only time you ever need to jump is when you absolutely need to. Otherwise, you just walk
Hmm.
through everything. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you read the plot because there's weird characters in there.
So yeah, we don't really know the entire plot of the game. So this basically comes from the Wikipedia page, and honestly, that's probably all there is to the game, anyways. So the main character of this game is called Bontaro Haiseyama. Haiseyama? Yeah, whatever. Again, Japanese, not our strong point in the podcast. So his girlfriend, assumably Kayo or Kayo, gets kidnapped, and he goes from Tokyo or back then Edo. He goes from there to Kyoto to rescue her, and he uses the Tokaido, probably, which is an eastern sea road. It's a road that goes by the sea, connecting Edo, or modern day Tokyo, to Kyoto in Japan. That's pretty much it. If you look at the game, there's some quote unquote cutscenes in it where you see Montaro traveling through all the regions by following that road. Yeah, that's pretty much what this game is. Oh.
Yep. Um, Going right into the gameplay here. Controls. The controls seem basic at first until you want to get a little advanced with them. Your D-pad obviously moves you. A is to jump, and if the longer you hold A, the further you can jump. It does have like a kind of floaty feel to it after a while, which comes in handy in later stages. Your B, or the B button, does your palm attack. It's one of the few attacks that you have. It's a close range melee attack. Start button pauses. The select button does nothing at all. If you double tap left or right, you'll run. Very handy later on in the game. If you double tap left or right plus B, you'll do a running headbutt. If you do down plus A, you do a Shiko, which is your leg stomp. So if you've ever watched sumo wrestling, they do like the Shiko. They do their leg stomps in the circle, right? That's an attack. And then up and B, you send a flying hand at the enemy, but you have to have a barrel power up for this one. And to note with this, your palm attack, your Shiko, and there's one other thing that you can actually power up. So if you can kind of think of it like an RP, almost like an RPG in a sense too, where you get, we'll talk about XP here in a minute, but you get XP as you break blocks and kill enemies throughout the game. You use that XP to level up pieces of your character. So like if you level up your hand, for example, your palm attack does more damage. If you level up your feet, your Shiko does more damage, etc., etc. Going into the actual items of the game now, so this is where a lot of the game like really comes into play. Is that you have a rice bowl or a ramen bowl, which is 1 XP. Every 10 XP that you get in the game, you can level up something on your character.
Well, the number goes up.
It goes up. Yeah, it goes.
Level, yeah.
Yeah, it goes up after every one. I think by 5 or 10. So.
Yeah.
The Dongo dumplings give you 1 hit point. There's a bowl of, I'm assuming, soup. I think that's what I called it in my playthrough. It's a full heal. By default, I think you start off with 4 or 5 squares of health.
3 actually.
Is it 3? Okay.
Yeah,
so you start off.
Yeah,
so you start off with 3 squares.
5 times, I believe.
Okay. So yeah, you start off with 3 squares of health then. And each time you get hit, I think it takes away one square. So it's a pretty unforgiving game when it comes to that. There's a fan that gives you 5 XP. Like the old Japanese traditional fan. I don't know the actual terminal or what those are actually called. I forgot what they're called. There is a 1-up. Gives you a 1-up. There is a scroll that grants you invincibility for a short amount of time. There's the barrel that gives you the flying fists. And then there's a shamrock that gives you, I think it was 5 or 10 XP as well too. You get those by killing the ninja guys that just randomly appear. And then the scroll that does nothing. I don't think I've ever had the scroll that does nothing. You lose your fly fist upgrade and blink. Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten that upgrade. So
yeah, it's very weird. It's like you pick it up if you have energy for your flying fist, it just disappears, and your character starts blinking the entire time, kind of like you would have for the invincibility. But I cannot, for the life of me, figure out what it actually does. I think it's a power down for sure because you lose the energy, but I don't know what the blinking is about because it doesn't seem to do anything else, and it stays with you until you die or you finish the level. So it's really weird.
That is weird. And then the skull, which I think was death, right?
The skull just makes you lose all of your experience that you have accumulated so far.
So death.
So you don't die of it, but you just want to avoid it because you don't want to lose your experience. But yeah, you can upgrade three things. Indeed, you can do your normal attack, your Shiko, and your health. Every
Health, that's what it was.
yeah, every ability has 5 level ups. When it comes to the health, those give you one extra pack each, so you can go up to 8 health in total. The Shiko does more damage the more you level it up, but I think it's only after you put in um, two experience points in it uh, that it actually levels up. The same goes for the fist. So it's totally useless getting the fifth upgrade for the fist because it doesn't do anything. You don't do more damage,
Oh,
at least not to enemies or bosses in the game. There are a few blocks throughout the game that require you to have the full upgrade to break them. Um, but otherwise it doesn't do more damage to the enemies. As far as these upgrades go, the best thing to do, probably if you're not familiar with the game, is go for health first and then go for the 4 upgrades for your palm attack for sure. The Shiko you basically never use, except for maybe 2 times in I think stage 1, 2, or 1, 3.
I
One of
used it for one
those.
of the bosses exclusively.
Yeah, there is a way to use it for one of the bosses as well, but it's a pretty useless
It's a
upgrade.
long attack. Like you're very vulnerable when you're using it.
Yeah, you don't get invincibility frames throughout it, indeed.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, you should focus on doing more damage and being able to take more damage with your HP upgrades. That's basically it.
Yep. So yeah, going into the stages, this game only has 5 stages. There's bosses after each stage, but each stage has 3 mini stages through it. Think of like how Mario is, like 1-1, 1-2, 1-3. And after you beat each stage, you get a password. So the game is super forgiving when it comes to that.
Hmm.
I believe it has unlimited continues even too, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does, yeah, for sure. Plus, the passwords, as far as I know, also keep track of which
Yep.
upgrades you have. So it's always a different password, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you can go to GameFAQs, I guess, and find a passcode, but like, if you played it and you may get a different number for your password. So
Yeah.
so yeah, stage one. Stage one is your basic. You're learning how the game plays, just like most Game Boy game does with this type of stuff. I know there's bonus stages throughout the entire game, but this was the only one I happened to come across, and it was completely by accident.
Yeah, every
Um,
stage has one. Like, literally, every stage has
yeah,
one.
but this was like the only one I came across, and it was completely by accident. I was like, "Oh, what's happening?" Then I had a choice between 3 options, and the 3 options you can get is sumo wrestling, arm wrestling, and thumb wrestling.
Those are the mini games, and they're
And
completely random, by
yeah,
the way.
and they're all 3 are awful. I thought the arm wrestling one would be fun. No, they're all awful. Avoid the bonuses at all cost.
I would
Um,
disagree completely with that,
really?
actually.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I hated them.
The the thing is the sumo wrestling and the arm wrestling are the ones that make sense and are easy to do, and they're also the way to gain a lot of experience um, fast, because playing through the game normally and getting experience from the items that get dropped or that are hidden in bricks, they don't give you that much, but the bonus games do. The problem is, of course, you have a choice between 3 of them. You don't know which ones they are because they're on cards that flip over, and one of them is basically you don't get a bonus game. So yeah, good luck getting the right one. Like, I got frustrated a lot during the game because of that. And you do not want the thumb wrestling one because it's very odd to play it. I still don't really get it. It's like you have to cancel your opponent's bar by going over it or under it. It's all kind of crazy. The other ones you just have to look at the bar and stop it at the middle of the screen. But yeah, in the first stage you only get like 20 experience max, but if you get to bonus stage during World 5, you get like 100 experience or something if you manage to go through it. So that's the best way to level up, basically.
Yeah, I did it like twice, and I hated it, and I never wanted to do it again. So I actively avoided bonus stages in my playthrough. You get enough XP in the stages, especially if you keep
You
dying.
do. If you don't
Um,
die, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but otherwise, like if you're having a little bit of trouble with the game, just remember there is one in each stage, so you can get a lot of experience that way.
yeah. Um, the fighting, the animation in this game is actually super well done. For it being a 1991 game, the animation in this game is insanely well done. Whenever you attack, whenever you walk, like your main character does a very nice job. Even the enemies do a nice job with with an animation. Whenever you attack a basic enemy and you're just palm striking them, there's a full on animation of you throwing them over your shoulder. Like, and it's a very good animation. And then when you die, like it's an animation of you falling over dead. Like it's crazy good. Even the bosses, like we'll get to this one in a second, but like the World 3 boss, like like his legs like jump like kind of like high knee if you've ever done high knees before in sports. But like they're very animated, and it's I don't know, like the sprite work and the animation of this game, it's crazy good. But the first boss you come across is basically a martial artist. Um, Incredibly easy boss once you figure out the pattern. Um, he stands still. It gives you a chance to walk over and start palming him. This is where you probably either want to upgrade your health or your hand for this one. And then you hit him a couple times. You want to run backwards, and what he's going to do is that he's going to run towards you and then jump, and you can just sprint underneath of him while he's in the air, and you won't get hit. Once he lands, he'll stop, and you can just palm him again, rinse and repeat. Like that's the entire fight. The one issue I do have with this game is that although like the bosses have the same health pool across the board, early game like they take forever to die because you don't have any power ups really. So like when you're fighting the first few bosses, it just feels like you're fighting for an eternity, and then after a while they get quicker. But like the fact that you just don't have power ups, it just seems like the fight takes forever. But I promise you that you can get through the first fight without getting hit at all if you time your dash right.
Yeah, if you do it correctly. One thing that hindered me throughout this game is the hitbox is a little weird on
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Not on the enemies. On the enemies, it's fine, but sometimes, especially with this boss, because it's the first one you come across, and I named this guy Dropkick Murphy because that's his attack. He does a dropkick every time. I don't know. Sometimes I just got hit and I wasn't even near him, so I didn't really get what it was doing, and it happens with the other bosses as well, which is kind of annoying if you don't know what you're doing. But after you figured it out,
yeah.
it's definitely not bad. But yeah, the hitbox is weird in this game. I don't know how to say it otherwise because it's not that it's bad. It's just
It's just
weird.
awkward. Because like at one point, like if you have an enemy below you and you're on a platform above them, they can actually walk through your feet and they won't hurt you at all. But you can literally see their sprite walk through your legs, but they won't hurt you. But like if you're on the same level as them, you can get hit like three pixels away from your body. So yeah, the hitboxes in this game on your character itself is exceptionally weird. Um, but yeah, moving on to stage 2. You called him Blink because he's dead if you blink. We call him Beast Tamer. Um, Basically because when you fight him, he'll either just walk back and forth across the screen and you just jump over him, And then you just palm him whenever he stops walking or whenever you're behind him. But when he stops walking, he pukes out a dog. And you just have
I've
to.
never even seen that
Oh, really?
ability, so
Yeah, yeah.
I have no idea.
Whenever he stops walking, he pukes out a dog. You jump over the dog, and he stands there like an idiot for like half a second. You just beat the crap out of him, and he does his walking crap again. Like it's the easiest boss ever to grace the Game Boy. Um,
Yeah, he dies in 1 second because you just start
you can
palm striking
you can
him and
stun
he's
lock
gone.
him.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
just gone immediately. It's so weird.
yeah. If you level up your hand high enough, like, you can start stun locking the bosses, and they can't do anything. They just sit there and like, oh, I'm getting palmed. I'm getting slapped in the chest. What am I gonna do about it? And they just fall over dead. So it's
Yeah.
good stuff. Um, World 3. I have a problem with World 3. World 3 is before you go to the boss, you have to go into a vertical climber. You have to climb up a tower. Now, oh nice. Look at you admitting in the chat. What a champ. World
Multitask.
World 3 is the absolute worst because this game is one of those games where it's like Castlevania, where if you lose the bottom platform while climbing up, that bottom platform doesn't come back and you die.
Yep.
And remember in this game, the longer you hold A, the longer you jump. So if you're doing a long jump up to a platform and you get hit by an enemy or you're not ready to commit to something, that platform underneath you disappears and you fall to your death. Even though it just went off the screen by a pixel, you are dead. That upsets me so much because there have been so many times in my playthrough, and those you watching right now, you're watching my playthrough of it, and there have been so many times where, like, I would jump up, and I'm like, oh, there's the platform over there. Oh, there's an enemy right there. Oh, there's an item up there I need to go grab quick, and I fall to my death because the platform disappeared below me. Um,
Mhm.
this stage, I would say, this stage and stage 5 are the two hardest normal stages to go through before you get to the boss. Um, Mostly because of how unfair the game can get.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but World 3 offers you a ton of XP, a ton of one ups, and a ton of health.
Yep.
And the one ups and the XP come back every single time. So you technically don't even lose a life once you get to a certain point. You just keep gathering it back, and then you eventually have one extra. But this stage offers you a plethora of things to go through, and it gives you a bunch of the ninja guys too that give you the shamrock for extra XP.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
this stage is excellent for leveling up like your palm strike or your shiko, your health, or whatever you want to level up. But once you get to the top of the stage, you fight against you call him Ramon.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when I was playing his sprite showed up, and I was like, "Th- what's this Ramon doing here?" I don't know. He looked like a Ramon to me. I don't know why. And
or
I'm not talking about not the band the Ramones. I mean like a guy named Ramon for some
like
reason.
Razor Ramon from wrestling.
I don't know much
Scott
about wrestling,
Scott.
so I
Wow.
don't.
Okay.
But
Well,
yeah, he just looks like Ramon to me for whatever reason.
according to lore, it's Lord Oda. So,
All right.
but this guy here, like, he runs around like high knees, like quick step in with his fists up to his face, ready to box you. If you're watching the stream, there's a cheese strap for it, and you're seeing it right now. Um, his basic moves is he just runs back and forth, but there's a platform in the middle of the screen that you can just stand on. And when he approaches you, he'll punch at you, but you can just jump over him as he's walking under you. And then once he gets to the far left side of the screen, he slide kicks back to the right side and just walks again back to the left side of the screen. If you hit him, he jumps up and does a drop kick. But here's the cool thing: when he's walking underneath of you, if you jump above him and then crouch down and palm strike him, you can hit him in the back of the head. Then he'll drop kick to the left side of the screen and immediately slide back to the right, rinse and repeat. You can literally just hit him in the back of the head until he's dead.
Hmm.
You don't ever have to face him head on the bottom platform. Or you can use your Shiko. That's what I did in the speed run. You can use your cheat code and kill him that way too.
It is a possibility. The first time I played the game again, because it had been a while, like this guy gave me so much trouble. I don't know why, but it took me a while to get through him. But yeah,
This
once you know what to do, it's really easy.
the stage itself gave me more trouble than the boss.
I
Um,
didn't have a problem with that. It was just good old Ramon here that was
Good
kicking
old
my ass.
Ramon.
Good old Ramon.
Then we go into stage 4. Stage 4 is hard because you don't know what are spikes and what aren't spikes. um, because and throughout the stage you're gonna come across like these bamboo shoots in the ground. Those are actual spikes. Those hurt you. But you're gonna come across what looks like a cornfield, like the corn stalks with the pointy tops. Those aren't spikes. Although they look like spikes, they're not spikes. They're just a normal piece of platform.
Yeah, they're the breakable blocks for this stage,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
So that's a thing to learn while you're playing through the game. However, the background of this stage is 10 out of 10 because it has a sun setting with the water in the background and some mountains and stuff. Gorgeous atmosphere for the game. But understanding what spikes are and what they're not in this stage is real dumb. So but yeah, so this stage here, this one introduces the guys that can throw you as well. So at a certain point you're gonna get to like these like platforms, and what's gonna happen is that you've been tossing these people left and right. However, you're gonna come across an enemy that can actually throw you behind them if you're not careful. And they are not fun to fight, period. So um that's really the biggest the two big things in this stage is knowing what spikes are, which is the bamboo shoots in the ground, and being careful not to get thrown behind you. I think this stage also offers the crazy neck lady as well too. The crazy neck lady is this Japanese
Um,
woman that has like the neck that stretches 20 feet in the air and shoots fireballs at you.
she's in the first stage as well.
Is she
It's like
okay?
an enemy. Yeah, they should just show up occasionally. Yeah.
Okay. Probably the coolest enemy in the game, mind you. Uh, you don't expect it. Like you have
True.
dancing
It's
umbrella,
true.
you have dancing umbrellas, you have ninjas, samurais, old men with canes. You don't expect a Japanese woman's neck to stretch 20 feet in the air and shoot fireballs at you. Like that's
It's true.
awesome, you know. like,
Yeah.
um,
There's also the guys dressed as a tanuki. Those
true,
those are.
true, yeah, yeah,
It's not an actual tanuki, just a guy in a suit. It's like what?
yeah.
So random.
So the boss at the end of this stage is you call it a Hans Molman,
Yep.
or yeah. Um, if you've ever played Dive Man in Mega Man 4,
Yep. There
you
he
you
is.
have fought this boss. Um,
Such an annoying boss.
yeah, if you've ever fought Dive Man in Mega Man 4 NES or Mega Man 3 Game Boy, you have fought this boss already. This guy here will jump and spin into the ground. When he comes back up out of the ground, he throws some balls out, dodge the balls, palm him, drives back in the ground, rinse and repeat. A very simple boss. He can elude you a little bit if you're not paying close attention, but for the most part, it's a Mega Man boss that we fought 100 times already.
Yeah, and for some reason, when he's getting low on health, you can hit him more than once when he
Yeah,
pops out of the ground. It's really weird that you can't do that throughout the entire fight, because that would make it a lot faster, because now it's more of a waiting game and it gets annoying pretty fast. But when he has like 2 or 3 packs left, you can like stomp him like 3 or 4 times before he does his ball move. So I don't know what that is about. It's just weird programming,
yeah.
really.
I don't get it at all. But that's basically it for World 4. World 4 honestly isn't too bad. It's just understanding what your environment looks like. I will say one thing though, in 4-2, you want to jump ahead a little bit and back up because enemies will spawn literally like right on the edge of the pit. And if you jump and get hit by an enemy while you're jumping over a pit, you lose all your momentum and you're gonna fall into the hole and die. Um, so just a tip there for you. when you play
Mm-hmm.
Sumo Fighter is jump ahead, jump ahead and see what's coming. Especially the guys with the nets. The guys with the nets are your bane of existence when jumping over pits. Um,
They do suck, yeah.
yeah, like they're easy sprites, but like they're just everywhere. They're a nuisance. Um, yeah. Going into stage 5, this is the final world of the game. Um, this stage is, in my opinion, probably the hardest world to get through. Um, most of the worlds are easy. Most of them are kind of quick. I would say this one is quick, but it's hard because they throw everything from the game at you in worlds 5-1 and 5-2 and 5-3. Um, but once you get through it all, you come across 2 bosses at the end, and you have to beat them without dying.
Yep.
Which easier said than done, oddly enough. Um, so in this, what you gotta do is get to the end, fight the bodyguard, then you gotta fight the shogun. If you die to the bodyguard, you gotta start the stage again. If you die to the shogun, you gotta start 5-3 again. That's
Yeah,
simple.
this is the
So,
only stage where you don't have a checkpoint because
yep,
all the other stages, even the boss stages, you start like halfway through the level. This one, for some reason, you don't, which is also a weird choice, but yeah,
yeah.
I don't know why they did that.
I don't get it either. But the first guy you fight, Mo calls him Shredder, which I can understand why he looks like Shredder.
It's literally Shredder.
It's literally Shredder. We call him the bodyguard. He gets every time you hit him, he gets very fast. But you have to so you jump over him when he runs at you because he literally just sprints underneath of you, so you don't have to do much. Think of like the second boss of the game where you just jump over him after you hit him. It's the same fight here. It's just he runs, so you just have to be prepared to jump faster. Hit him, he'll sprint at you. Hit him again, sprint at you, rinse and repeat. Once you beat the bodyguard, you go face off against the Shogun. Now, the Shogun is kind of so the Shogun can be a really easy fight or it can be a really hard fight, depending on what you leveled for your power up. If you leveled up everything into your palm strike, you can stun lock the Shogun. But if
Yep.
you didn't, well, the Shogun's tough. The Shogun just walks back and forth, and when he gets close to you, he pulls out a samurai sword and swipes at you. The samurai sword hitbox is crazy because it's well above his head, and you can't actually jump over the sword. You
Mhm.
just can't you don't jump high enough to get over the sword. So you have to hit him, run backwards, and like run jump over him to get over him when he comes at you. If you don't have a power up fist, if you have the power up fist, you can literally just palm strike him, stun lock him, and he's down in a second. So this fight here, it all depends on how you leveled your character throughout the game.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can Shiko him to death, but it takes forever.
yeah. Like I said, like the palm upgrade is the best thing you can
Yeah.
do in this game, because it literally helps you with a lot of boss fights for sure. Yeah, I called this guy useless emperor because he comes on screen and you stun lock him and that's all he does. Like
Yeah.
you can do the same with Shredder actually. You
Yep.
do have to take one hit where he goes through you, but then you can also just stun lock him to that. It's really easy. When it comes to useless emperor or shogun, make him come on the screen though, because if you do happen to kill him on the side of the stage, when you kill a boss, they drop this shogi piece, which you need to pick up to finish the level. If you would fight this guy on the edge of the screen, he would drop it outside of the screen, and you can't get it, and then you soft lock the game. So
Yep.
uh, try not to do that for sure. Just let him come in a little bit closer. He starts off really slow anyway, so yeah,
True.
keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah. It's like
You do have the password for the final stage by now, so
yeah.
it's not that big of a deal if you soft lock here. But
You just have to play through 5-3 again. So
yeah,
but yeah, you get a password after every stage. So like 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3. You get a password after each one. So
yep. So yeah, that marks the end of the game. You get like a little scene where you save what's her name, Ko or Kaio again.
Kaio, yeah.
Yeah, and then depending on how you started the game, because you have a choice between easy and hard. If you've played easy, which is probably the best thing to do if you haven't played this game before, so you can get familiar with how it works, it will say, okay, that's good on you. You beat the game, but now play hard mode. And then you get a password to start off hard mode,
So,
basically. This is not a new game plus.
oh,
It's really just starting from the start again. Basically, everything stays the same except for hard mode. There are more enemies throughout the stages, and there will be different enemies, usually in the form of annoying birds or something like that that will push you into pits. That's like the biggest change in hard mode. But once you get familiar with these new setups of enemies, the stages are practically the same. You do not take more damage or anything like that. Some of the bosses do get a new attack though, but if you have been already familiar with how they work, the fights remain the same throughout most of it. It's just they have a new attack. Maybe you'll see it, maybe you don't. Uh, but yeah, keep that in mind for sure. So then you beat hard mode and you're like, well, this game is done, right? Right? No, it is not done at all. It says, "Wow, you beat hard mode. Good job." But why not try super mode now? So then you're like, "Oh my god, are you kidding me? Do I have to play through this game again?" Yes, you do have to play through this game again. Super can only be accessed by beating hard mode, so
yep.
it's not a choice in the menu at all. And the only difference I could see between this mode and hard mode is that the two stationary enemies, those being the long-necked lady and the guy in a tanuki suit, they take two hits instead of one.
Yep.
Besides that, there was literally no change at all. So I don't know why they didn't just stop at hard mode. It's a really odd choice. But you do have to beat Super to actually get the credit roll for this game. Like the ending stays the same, but you actually get the
Yeah.
credits roll. So
Real
if you
real
want to see
credits.
that, yeah, if you want to see that, you'll have to play through Super. Otherwise, just play easy or hard mode if you want a little bit more of a challenge, but not much. Uh,
Just play easy.
it, yeah, easy is fine. Like you,
Just play easy.
yeah.
Easy
I
gives you
mean, I
enough of
had
a
to,
challenge, so
yeah, true. Like I said, hard mode is basically just, oh, there's an annoying bird in my way that's gonna push me into a pit when I try to jump over it. Like besides that, like nothing much changes. So it just depends on what kind of challenge you want for yourself, what you want to play, and
yep.
play super if you want to. But it's again the same game as hard, as far as I know.
Yep. Yeah. Cover art. Very different cover arts this time around. The cover art that you all are seeing on the stream right now is the American cover art, which resembles nothing of the game at all. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and for those listening, the cover art in the foreground is we have a sumo wrestler, generic drawn sumo wrestler with a gray is that a mawashi? Is that what a mawashi is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a slowing plot. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. Just what you think of when you what you imagine in your head when you think of a sumo fighter.
Yeah,
Basically, that's
very
literally
very
it.
stereotypical sumo fighter. No real distinct features to it. Standing on a piece of ground, overlooking something because it's seemingly on a cliff because there's a cliff edge in the bottom right corner, and then behind him is a mountain that looks like it might be smoking, which is weird because like the character, the ground, and the mountain all have like a sense of like realism like drawing to them, but like the smoke or the cloud coming from like the top of the mountain looks like a third grader just took a water brush and just painted a cloud coming out of it. So pretty it's a cool box art, but it's nothing to brag about.
Yeah, it doesn't really grab your attention. Yeah. It's just a sumo fighter and Mount Fuji in the
If
background.
I
Like
if I if
that's
I
the only
saw
thing you get.
this if I saw this on a Kmart shelf when I was 5 years old, I would not buy it based off of the box
Mm,
art. Let's just say
mm,
that. Um, Based off of the box art, because that's how we did things back in the '90s. We didn't have the internet, and you bought games solely based off of if the box art looked cool. If the box art looked cool, if Nintendo Power said it was cool, and if you looked at the back of the box and it looked cool, you bought the game, right? That was the only, and then you play the game and you realize that it sucked. You realize like, oh, the Godzilla is not actually Godzilla. It's this Bubble Bobble with a fist coming out of my mouth. So I'm still salty about that game 20 years later. so
I
uh,
like that game though.
I hate that game. I probably would have liked it if I knew what I was. If it
Yeah.
didn't have the word Godzilla on it, I probably would like it. But the fact that it says Godzilla on it and you run around and punch boulders off of things, stupid. Uh, I want to kill Mothra. Damn it.
Matra is in it.
I know, but not the way I want him to be.
Yeah.
I want the Xbox Godzillas where I get to destroy cities and beat up other monsters. I don't want to push a rock with a punching glove out of my mouth. Dumb. Um, but then we have the Japanese box art, which very very different, mind you. Let's see if I can actually pull it up on stream without breaking anything. Even before I'm breaking something, 100% breaking something. There we go. Didn't break anything.
Good, good.
So then we have the Japanese box art. Very colorful. Very, very, very colorful box art. This one actually depicts the game. They so the guy in the foreground is the main person that you play as, and he's not your traditional sumo wrestler. He has an 8-pack, so he has abs, a lot of muscle. But
Mhm.
still is still wearing his black or gray um uh
Mawashi.
Mawashi, thank you. And he's leaping at you with arms out. Top right corner, pink cloud, awesome. Very colorful night sky in the back. And then behind him you can see some of the enemies that you have to tango against. Like the ball guy that's juggling. The little the guy with the net right above the top left of his hair. Um, I can't tell what the other monster is above his left knee, but there's
Yeah,
another
me
one
neither.
there. And it looks like he's like coming out of the water a bit too, or like flying across the water, like anime style. Like it looks pretty awesome. And then below it is sumo fighter, blah 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 blah. So this box art is phenomenal. If I saw this box art at 5 years old, I would have bought the game.
Yeah, you can see by this cover that it's not a traditional sports game. If you look at the American one, it's like, okay, this is a game about sumo fighting. I don't care. like,
Yeah,
like the Japanese one just screams, well, anime for sure.
100%
And no,
anime.
no, it's not based on an anime or anything like that or on a
Oh,
manga. But yeah, this just screams like an adventure game, like a fun adventure game, and not like just a sports game, at least.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. If I saw this in Kmart, I would have bought this one instead. But lo and behold, I didn't buy either one at 1991. Now I need to time travel to go back to 1991, 1993 actually for me, and buy a copy
yes.
of the game for $40. So I can buy like 8 copies of the game for $40
And sell them
and then
nowadays,
sell
yeah.
them right now. Yep, complete in box, sealed, factory sealed, complete in box.
yeah.
So then I'll buy Toxic Crusaders and Amazing Tater, Mega Man 5. I got all complete in box, factory sealed. And
No.
I'm the only one with time traveling, so um we'll crash the market immediately. I'll be rich, I'll have a house instead of a scrappy apartment, and But yeah, with that, so that's the game. That's the box art. Fun game. It can be a short game, but I think it took me like a couple hours to play through it. But yeah, we're gonna take another quick short break. When we come back, we'll give you our thoughts, history with the game, things of that nature. So stay tuned.
Yeah. I'm trying to click that link in chat, but it doesn't open for me, so I don't know what that is.
Wikizilla. What's this
It's
song?
the Godzilla game on Game Boy isn't awful, but it's Godzilla Kun and not Godzilla. But they marketed it completely wrong in the West. Also, the Japanese version of that game is better than the American one because it's easier. I don't think we didn't do an episode on it, right?
Not yet.
Did I do a live on it?
Not yet. We haven't done any Toho. We haven't done any Toho stuff yet.
No. Yeah, that's a fun one to talk about because it's two different games actually. Well, yeah, whatever. hard to get into it. Yeah, there is Kirby on my shelf there. It's the art book. What is it called?
Yeah, I got a Kirby
art style collection.
I got a Kirby plushie right there.
I don't have a Kirby plushie.
I got
well,
Kirby plushie, Pac-Man lights. This is Game Boy coffee cup, dog meat, Nuka-Cola, Genesis. My Sony can koozie I got from a Sony trailer. Assassin's Creed 3 Collector's Edition. Assassin's Creed 3 statue. I used to have the Assassin's Creed 3 flag up there, but I took it down.
Yeah, I have the Game Boy, what is it called? Cartridge collection.
Oh yeah, I got that right here.
We got the Hyrule Historia, the old version, because I think there's an updated one.
Yep, I got the old one too.
You can see two Mega Man thingies there.
Perlers.
Nami's legs, maybe you can see. Nami from One Piece, that is.
All my Mega Man stuff is up there.
And
All my
then
Funko Pops.
Usagi Yojimbo book.
Oh, I have an AIDS plushie right there. So like when I went to SGDQ in 2018 or 2019, Doctors Without Borders was there, obviously, and they were handing out plushies of microbes that were shaped after viruses, and then when I was there, they were handing out AIDS, an AIDS microbe. So I have AIDS right there.
Great.
What?
You got AIDS.
It's AIDS right there. There's AIDS. It's cute too. That's the sucky part of it. Like, horrible virus, but that plushie is adorable. Terrible virus.
Yeah.
Adorable plushie.
What else do you see on my cam? Let's see.
Oh, I got
the house Blu-ray box set I can see, and then next to it is, I think, The Walking Dead season 1 through 10 on Blu-ray, and then you can see Zoidberg. That's,
I have
Futurama box set of the first 4 seasons.
Yeah, I have the Kirby mangas next to me too. 2 of the 3 Kirby mangas next to me too. Along with Virtual Boy games. I have a bunch of just random shit around me. Pile of Game Boy manuals right here. I need to scan for legs that I'll never do. So,
Yeah.
pile of Game Boy manuals we don't have in the Game Boy database. So.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll continue. There's not that much left to talk about actually for this episode.
Oh, that song is awful.
Sure.
There is not one good song in this game. There we go.
Yeah, the soundtrack isn't that great.
The
Anyways,
ending.
I'll be right back.
Ugh. What world am I in on this game right now? I'm in world 5 right now. Game is fun. Give it that much. It's about all I'm giving it though. What's up, chat? How you been? Sorry I didn't raffle last night. I had to be up and ready for this. Otherwise, I would have done raffle last night. After Kavik and Evo. I don't know what we would have done last night, though, for raffle. Probably wouldn't have done handheld night. Again, I probably would have done, like... I couldn't have done Atari night. My Atari stuff's not working right now. I would have done, like... 8-bit night or something. 16-bit night. Heatwave. I know nothing about heat waves. It is 30 degrees and ice here right now. I went to the market last night, and it was nothing but ice outside. So, and then today we're under an ice advisory, ice and wind advisory right now. So, glad I got my stuff last night. It's the pros of living in Northern America, like 5 hours away from Canadian border. I get to deal with snow and ice and super cold weather, and then crazy humid hot summer days. There's like 2 decent songs throughout this entire game. Open your window and I have my windows cracked in the winter usually because I'm just I'm a well insulated individual, so I typically get hot very quickly. But last month I think it was, we had a stretch of like negative 20 degree weather with wind chill, like negative 20 to negative 30 degree Fahrenheit wind chill weather. So I was like, well, time to close the windows because it was just too cold in my apartment.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back. I can finally stop listening to this garbage soundtrack. I don't like it. There's not one good song in it. So. I'm sorry, composer guy. You did well in Bri Fighter.
Yes. Yeah, that's good music.
You didn't
but
do.
He only rearranged the music. Someone else actually made it.
All right. Well, I'm not giving you any credit then, composer. All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. From a short break. Thoughts of history. We're gonna start with you, Mo, since you actually wrote stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know that this game existed at all. And I think you played it and mentioned it to me, and that's how I found out about the game. But the first time I played it, it was just a quick playthrough on easy. Um, and yeah, I was surprised a game like this existed because I wasn't expecting a platformer uh, based around a sumo wrestler at all. Um, and the first time I played it, I was impressed by it, but I also didn't really like it that much, to be honest. I got annoyed by the hitboxes, like I mentioned earlier, and I don't know. The game just didn't click with me the way it should have had. But I replayed it last week, and I went through all those difficulties. And again, like when I was playing it on easy, the annoyances came back to me pretty quickly, and I was like, oh, I really still don't like this game. But because I tried my best to get through hard mode and super mode, which was again literally the same as hard mode, the game actually grew on me because I knew what I was doing. I barely died anymore. So I actually kind of like this game right now. It's not something I would revisit often, but I think it's definitely worth playing and sticking with it until you're familiar with like how it works exactly, because it does turn out to be a lot more fun than it seems at the start. The randomness of the mini games, however, because I do use them a lot to level up, I hate it because like sometimes I just needed one more upgrade and I was like not getting the experience I needed, and then I knew where all the bonus games were, and then I tried it and it's like, oh, it's the one where I don't get a bonus game, or oh, it's the thumb wrestling one that doesn't make any sense at all. But eventually there's so many opportunities to level up that in the end you can definitely get every upgrade that you might need, and you don't need them all if you get better at the game. Like even the health upgrades don't matter that much. It's mostly the punch that you want to get
Yeah.
to level 4 as quickly as possible, because then you do the most damage. So yeah, those are my thoughts and history with this game. I think this is definitely a game you have to play a few times before it at least in
Yeah.
my opinion, before it grows on you, and then you can see like it's really cool. It has nice graphics, cool animations for such an early game in the Game Boy library, and it's a very unique game because you wouldn't expect a platformer based around the sumo wrestler, and it does that pretty well actually.
Yeah, I think I got everyone that has played Sumo Fighter for their Game Boy challenge. I think I was the reason they played it, because I talked about it pretty religiously after I played it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I beat this. This was game 96 for me. So that was back in 2017 was when I played this the first time, and this was back when we were all like, I mean, we're active in it still, but like we were really active into like the Game Boy stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
we had 4 or 5 people doing it at a time, and I played it. I didn't know it existed. I was doing my normal run through video game list. Teal. I was like, okay, let's see what's going through there, and I like sumo fighting games. I just do. I think sumo fighting games are super fun, and I happened to come across Sumo Fighter. I assumed it was a sumo wrestling game. And I was like, yeah, sumo wrestling game. Heck yeah. Well, before I knew what Hari Manada was, I was like, yeah, sumo wrestling game. Sick. Finally, something fun on the Game Boy. And then I started playing. I'm like, oh, this is not a sumo wrestling game. um, it's a platformer, and I played like the first couple stages of it. I was like, oh, that's kind of a neat game. It gave me a Ninja Gaiden vibe, because like I had to get XP. It gave me like a Ninja Gaiden and Rygar vibe. If you ever played Rygar on the NES, it gave me a Ninja Gaiden and Rygar vibe where like I have to break blocks to get XP, and the XP allows me to boost my powers basically. I was like, all right, this is kind of interesting. Like I haven't played a platformer like this before, and yeah, I think the next day I literally sat down and played it. It took me just look. I think it took me an hour and a half to beat it, and I was like, oh, this game was actually pretty damn cool. I do agree. The hitboxes were pretty janky, and I definitely have my complaints in terms of level design. But I thought like the sprite work and the animation was some of the best I've seen at that point in Game Boy Adventure. And
Mm-hmm.
then I told you and John Carlos about it, And like I think within like the next week or 2 weeks, like you and John started playing it. I know John immediately got pissed at the game, and as he did, and I don't think I watched your initial playthrough. I think I watched like parts of your
I'm not
VOD.
sure.
I think I watched parts of your VOD later on, but I don't think I watched your initial playthrough of it because I just at the time just didn't watch a lot. I still don't watch a lot of Twitch, but um, I just didn't watch a lot of retro stuff back then. Um, so, but I don't know. I liked the game. With it, it's really hard for me to hate a game. When I say like if I'm sincere about me hating a game, I to me that game is the worst game ever to exist. Um, I don't hate Super Mario Land 2, but I don't like Super Mario Land 2. I understand why people like the game, but I personally do not like the game.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, I think Mario Land 2 did a lot of good things that pushed forward some of the games in the Game Boy library. You know, and the music in the game is well done. But I personally I think the game sucks. Dragon's Lair on Game Boy Color, that game burned every copy in the world that you can find of that game because that game is awful. Awful. The people that ported that game should feel bad. And if you listen to the podcast, you should feel bad. By the way, if you want to interview, just let me know, and we can talk about Dragon's Lair Game Boy Color, and how much I don't like it. I will ask you why every single time. Why did you have to do this? But I thought this game was decent. Is it the best game I've ever played on Game Boy? No. I consider it above average, an above average Game Boy game that not many people have probably ever heard of. It's a very obscure game, and for being a platformer for how it is with an XP system, block breaking system, mini games, like you don't have a ranged attack really at all. Like you're relying on a melee attack, so it's almost like a beat 'em up ish type platformer. It's a pretty underrated game. I think the game is actually very well done. I was and then segued into the next segment. I was the initial route maker for the speedrun of this game. After I played and beat the game, I did a very rudimentary routing of the game. I got it down to like a 25-minute game, where you literally just power up your fist. You don't power up anything else. Just straight fist, and then once you're done with fist, put it all into health.
Yep. Yep.
And you can burn through the game in like 25 minutes. And then since then, Atraz and a few other people, I think, have taken it down to like 20 minutes or 18 minutes now. So,
Yeah, Atros, a few weeks ago, he went back to the game and improved upon it. This is the speedrun for easy mode, of course, but now it's down to like 15 minutes and
yeah,
17 seconds. And it can go, like I saw the run last week. A sub 15 is definitely possible. So it's not
wow,
a long game if you know what you're doing.
yeah. Like I said, the game's all about how you build your character. If you know what you're doing, and again, like what Mo was saying too, like if you know what you're doing, the game is super fun. If you know exactly what you're doing, the game is crazy fun. If you don't know what you're doing at all, the game sucks kind of hard. So I definitely do agree with that sentiment 100%. But yeah. That's all I got. Like what Mo said, the speedrun now is down to about 15 minutes, so Tiny 10 area.
Yep.
It's
It
in
is. I still have to update the list on it, but it's definitely a possibility now to put it in.
it's in the Tiny 10 window time frame now.
Yep. Yep.
Saying it'll be in the next Tiny 10, but
Not saying that, but there is a possibility, of course. So
I don't even think we started talking about the next Tiny 10 yet. So
that's still like half a year away.
which is crazy to think because the last Tiny 10 we just had, Tiny 10, what was it, 13 or whatever it was? We you
12, I believe.
12. We literally had that game list done in like March.
Yeah.
We had that game list done in March, and this one we haven't even thought about yet. So, oh man. Do we want to take another? I don't want to take another break. I don't want to listen to this music any more than I have to. We're gonna go into the outro, which I didn't even look at marathon stuff at all. So that's how prepared I was for
No.
marathon stuff. Um, I know Midwest Speed Fest has something going on. They just released their schedule. Let me find it real quick.
Yeah. All I know is at least on RGL here next weekend. So if you're listening to the episode that this comes out later than that weekend or the same weekend even, so that won't matter anymore. But from March 10th to through March 14th, there will be Do the Mario's event on RGL here.
Do the Mario.
So I think the concept is that it's all speed runs of like different Mario games, and it's done by people who actually do the speed runs mostly.
So
And there's
not
also
so not casual Mario Golf round.
yeah, see, there will be stuff like that as well throughout the show for sure. Uh, but yeah, it's mostly like actual speedrunners of Mario games that will be
Yeah.
doing things. So.
I would showcase the Virtual Boy Mario Tennis. My Framemeister hates the Virtual Boy. Hates the Virtual Boy. So I need to find a better way to upscale or capture the Virtual Boy. I have a consoleized Virtual Boy, like it works great, but the Framemeister hates it. It does not want to sync well with it. So otherwise, I'd showcase Mario Tennis on Virtual Boy and how awful that game is too. Um, it's true. But Midwest Speed Fest, their submissions are apparently volunteer submissions. Their volunteer submissions are closing in about 6 days. So if you don't know what Midwest Speed Fest is, Midwest Speed Fest is an in-person convention. It's not just a speed running thing, but it's a convention partnered with VGM Con, where here in Minneapolis, people get together. It's cosplay, Smash Brothers, things like that. But in a side piece of the convention is speedrunning, and that's where Midwest Speed Fest comes in. The guys from Midwest Speed Fest are all from around my area here in Minnesota, and it's a bunch of speedrunners that get together in person, kind of like a GDQ. We sit in a room, watch people play games, clap, cheer, do our thing, and call it a day. It's actually a super fun thing. I've attended 2 of them in my time. So the people that run Midwest Speed Fest are actual phenomenal people, very friendly folks as well. So they have that coming up April 1st through April 3rd. So about a month-ish out for that. What else do we got going on? You've already said the RGL stuff, so
Well, there's still Retrothon, of course, in April here on RGL, which is April
Retrothon.
16th through April 24th. I think submissions are closed.
Yes.
At least when this episode comes out, it will be closed.
So I think submissions closed a while ago.
Yeah. So yeah, there's something to look forward to at least.
Um. Oh, there's another one coming up. This one's to help a family with some help some close friends of mine in a way with some medical stuff. So like it's called Knights of the Round Table, and that one's happening on shit. I'm in too many discords. I'm in way too many discords. This one's happening on. Wait for my phone to load. When you don't use your phone, it doesn't load very quickly. March 18th. So the weekend of March 18th will be that one, and that one's a charity one. All proceeds are going to help one of our friends. Their child was diagnosed with with something that you don't want to be diagnosed with. I think it was, forgot which cancer it was, but this is helping them out with medical expenses. So March 18th for that one, and then I'm assuming Power Up with Pride will probably do something here semi soon. And if you still need a speedrunning kick, Games Done Quick literally has something running almost every single day between major marathons. I think Frame Fatales right now has been going for about a week or so. They might still be going now. So
Oh yeah, it's Frost Fatales at the moment.
Frost
Yeah.
Fatale. Oh yeah, it's winter time. Yeah, so that makes sense. Blue was on there. She ran Darkwing Duck NES. Killed it too. Did a phenomenal job. So
Yeah, and Ducktales, I
and
believe.
Ducktales. Yeah, she did the. She was part of the Duck Block. I think it was called or something like that.
The Duck Block.
Bird Block. But yeah, she killed it. It was awesome to watch.
No, I didn't see it.
I typically don't watch much of GDQ stuff, but being a part of the RGL family now, I've been trying to be a bit more in tuned with everyone. So,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I'm naturally not good at. So, ask Mo. I'm terrible at it. So, like last night, Mo was like, "We didn't announce anything yet for this episode." Oops. We haven't talked about the episode since we announced it a month ago. uh, Whoops. So yeah. Then obviously GDQ is gonna have SGDQ submissions probably open within the next month or so as well too. Keep an eye out for that. I would assume it's gonna be online again as well. So
Well, we're hoping.
it probably will be. Um that's all I got for marathon-y stuff. Um bloop, 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 going through all that. Do we have any questions at all? I see
We do not.
I see an Ultima Runes of Virtue question, which is not pertaining to the episode, but I do like I like the Ultima series a lot. It's one of my favorite RPG series.
I played both of the Game Boy ones, and I like them for 2 hours, and then I'm like, why is this game still
That's
going?
fair.
Like it takes too long. But it's funny. The games are funny at least. Like
Yeah,
they have a great sense of humor, but yeah, they always start really fun, but I lose interest in them quite quickly. Uh, yeah, they're both like 10-hour games, and that's
they're long.
a little bit too much. Yeah.
I've semi recently played Ultima 7, The Black Gate on Super Nintendo. I actually own a complete box of that game. I like the Ultima series a lot. It's a very dry RPG, don't get me wrong, but I'm part of that fan base. So it's just like if you ever played Fall like the old Fallout games, like Fallout 1 and 2, like those games were brutally like I'm going to call them bad. They're brutally bad. But like there's a following for, Fallout like that. So and I think Fallout 4 was a trash game as well too. There's only been one good Fallout game, that was New Vegas. So
Yeah,
that's
I
on the
would
internet
rather
now,
play.
so
I would rather play the Ultima games than I like will ever touch another wizardry game in my life. And I'm still not done with that stupid wizardry guiding game, and I hate it.
how do you
I wanted to die and stuff. Yeah, Ultima is way better than wizardry. There we go.
that's because you don't know what you're doing.
I don't know.
That's because you don't know what you're doing.
It's
Like look at
it's an
these
awful game.
these wizardry boxes look so cool. How can you not like a game with a cool box art?
Nope, not for me. Burn them. Burn them all.
Basically, in wizardry, if you don't know D&D rules, you're not gonna have a good time in the game.
Yeah.
It follows very strict D&D, like old D&D, like 3 if not earlier rule sets. So,
Yeah.
and Mo doesn't play D&D, so
Nope. Zero interest in it.
yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But
That's about all the listener questions we have. Unless somebody else in chat still has a question, can be about the game or just anything in
I
general.
can't click in Discord, otherwise I lose your video. So you're in charge of Discord.
Yeah, there's nothing in our Discord for this one, so
All right.
yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Before we get into the sellout mode, thoughts and suggestions from anyone,
Oh,
whether you're in chat, in our Discord, listening to it on the YouTubes, and want to leave a comment. I think comments should be enabled. If they're not, I'm gonna yell at Mo after this.
yeah, they've been
Um,
disabled, I
all
think
right,
so.
comment on SoundCloud, DM us, chat, talk to us in our Twitch channels, whatever it may be. Thoughts and suggestions of the podcast, we love hearing. We've gotten some really good positive feedback recently in the last few episodes that we've done. So it's just reassuring to know that we are on the right path in a way of doing these episodes. And since we're doing them live now, like obviously nothing is perfect going live. Like we were 45 minutes late today, and like I'm still struggling to figure out how to get things rolling, like the video. So you get to see the end of Sumo Wrestler at least in this episode because the square is black now. And I don't have anything to fill in that square. So it's a learning process. We're still trying to get it out. This is the second live episode that we've done with RGL. We're busting through it. So obviously feedback. We would love to hear feedback, suggestions, thoughts on the podcast, things of that nature. We haven't covered anything Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance yet. We've briefly talked about those games if we've played them, like Dragon's Lair Game Boy Color and how bad that game is. But we haven't done an episode yet on a Game Boy Color game. I actually have two lined up. Super Squidlet and Wink. So one's a homebrew for Game Boy Color. One is it's not playable on Game Boy, but it's stylized after Game Boy Color. So with all that said, you can find me, eBloodyCandy. Name is right there. On Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. That's really about it. And TikTok. You can find me on. I only have one video on TikTok, and it's me being absolutely disgusted by a person that put mayonnaise on themselves. TikTok's a weird, man. It's a riot. You can find our awesome, wonderful producer SprintingLegs, as you can see on the side of the thingy. You can see her on SprintingLegs on Twitch and Twitter, Legs on YouTube, and check out her project website, SprintingLegs.com, which is where you can actually find the Game Boy Manual database project that we have been working on, or you can go to gbmanuals.com for that. Mo, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram, all /Mule, which is on the screen, I suppose, right now. But if you're listening, that's written Moelleuh. So that's for all of those.
Yep. So now we go into the sellout mode, which is probably the best scripted version of the sellout mode we ever go into. So we have a Patreon, where if you want to support us monetarily each month, we have a Patreon where you get access to our notes, back-end stuff, bloopers. You get a bunch of access in our Discord as well, too, that non-subscribers get. We also have tiers throughout the thing where certain tiers get certain things. You get exclusive premiere access to Haunt Hunters, which is a horror Let's Play series that Mo and I do on YouTube. The most recent release is called The Bunker, where a family that is a part of a government agency is in a bunker for 30 some odd years, and the kid decides to leave the bunker or stay, whatever. It's supposed to be a horror FMV. It's more comical than it is horror. It has has like an 80s horror vibe to it. It's kind of funny. So that's the most recent one out right now. We're slowly planning on the next Haunt Hunters to be premiered to our patrons.
Yes.
We have to redo our milestones because we were going to do live streams after a certain amount of milestone, but we're reworking pieces of that right now. So stay tuned for that. If subscription stuff isn't your thing, because everything in the world is subscription based, we have PayPal. The only issue with PayPal is that we can't tie Discord into PayPal. So if you do support us via PayPal, please let one the three of us know, so we can thank you and give you stuff in return for supporting the podcast. Obviously, money isn't everything in the world, and we understand that money, especially in 2022, is kind of crazy right now because of pandemic and everything else that's happened else in the world. Listening to the podcast, leaving reviews, and just chatting with us in Discord is more than enough. We love hearing what you all think of the podcast. We love just hearing, like, hey, I just found your podcast, listen to it, good job. Like, love hearing that for sure. Having our small conversations in the Discord have been great. Like, we talked about sprite work and how to build Game Boy games and why Dragon's Lair on Game Boy Color sucks, and um and then we just, and then leaving reviews. Like, we have a 5-star review on Apple Podcast because, we have voices of an angel, and we never lie on the podcast ever. Um,
Never.
we still stand by that penguin, an amazing penguin. He had other things on his mind, and we're standing by it. Um,
Absolutely. The hidden truth.
the hidden truth behind the amazing penguin box art, we're standing by it. He had other things on his mind. He was doing something else and was caught after the act. Um, let's see. Oh, we gotta keep selling out. We got a merch store. Merch.thisisgameboy.com.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. I never remember the URL. Merch.thisisgameboy.com. Get yourself a shirt, a coffee cup. I think that's all that's available right now. Um, we'll probably maybe have more. It'd be kind of cool to have a sticker or something. But maybe when we launch more of the merch store. But the shirts are nice. If you're familiar with Gildan and Hanes, uh,
Mhm.
shirts, like the quality of those shirts, that's what you're getting. It's either a screen print on a Hanes or a Gildan shirt. I've washed mine probably like 20 times by now, and my screen print hasn't worn away or cracked or anything yet. So they've been great.
Yeah, and they have like factories all over the world,
Yeah,
so it doesn't matter where you buy it from. Like if there's any issues with customs, if you buy from outside of the EU or America, it doesn't matter because they have a factory everywhere. So
yeah,
they always ship from close by.
and the Teespring customer service has been actually, I heard, pretty phenomenal too. We've had a few people with issues with the actual shirt itself, and
Mm.
they reached out to Teespring, and Teespring hooked them up with a better quality shirt or a fix or whatever without much hassle. So,
Yes,
is that all the selling out that we have to do?
that is indeed all the selling
We
out we
did
have
it.
to do. Yeah. So yeah, all this information can be found with like clickable links and things like that on our website, which is just thisisgameboy.com.
Yeah,
Easy enough. There you can find links to everything you might need. Uh,
true,
Definitely go check that out.
true. Well, that's it for the closing statements. The next thing we had to talk about is our next game, which you've laid out
Mhm.
three.
Yeah, I it's my pick kind of, and I, these are the ones that come to mind that I do want to do an episode on. So, I mean, you can choose which one you want to do.
I am open to any of the three that you have written down. I hate one of the three that you have written down,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
I'm
but it's a
open to.
very interesting one to talk
I
about.
am, yeah,
Yeah, not because of like the difference between our opinions on it, but there's actually a lot to it, which is cool. But yeah, uh,
but yeah,
there are some
I
cool
I am good with
things.
either one of those three,
Mm-hmm.
having played and beaten all three of them. So
Yeah, indeed. Um,
we just got done doing a platformer, so it might be good to do Double Dragon.
yeah, it's a beat 'em up for sure. Operation C would be. It's an action game, like it.
It's an action platformer.
Yeah, and Bionic Commando is just unique platforming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, maybe Double Dragon indeed. would be
There you go.
the best choice for now. So yeah, let's do the original Double Dragon for Game Boy next time. That's a pretty cool one to talk about for
The
sure.
game that everyone hated in the Tiny 10. Literally everyone hated it.
Cave of Bobo, man. Cave of Bobo.
Cave of Bobo. Yeah, so yeah, the next time you hear from, oh cool, come on camera. My camera went out of focus, so you get to see blurry EBC. So the next time, there it goes. So the next time you hear from us, Mo and I together, we'll be talking about Double Dragon for the Game Boy. So until next time, everyone, thank you all for listening to the podcast. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate you all. And until next time, ta-ta.
Later, man.
Don't say anything dumb yet. We're still alive.
I know.
Okay. I gotta find the music for Double Dragon. It's hard.
Well, I'm stopping the Audacity recording.
There we go.
So let's stop that. Nice.